The Detroit Lions just got great news. They were able to get a freak athlete that is also a familiar name. And it might not be a familiar name to all of you because basically he played preseason with us last year. And there's a whole story to that. So we're going to talk about it. But first, let me tell you who exactly we got afterward. We all know that we got Tim Patrick. He's actually going to our practice squad, but I expect him to be absolutely elevated almost right away. Going to the practice squad, he signed with us. He'll be with us. And now we went out and got Trevor Nowaske, a linebacker. This is a guy out of Saginaw Valley State. He played for us last year. I think a lot of people forget it. I actually did a video on this guy about how I think he's going to make the roster. And if he doesn't make the roster, I talked about how my hope is that he will, at the bare minimum, make the practice squad. Well, we attempted to waive him to get him to our practice squad. He didn't make it to our practice squad. The Arizona Cardinals jumped in and they grabbed him, and he did not get much run. He played in a couple of games. I think it was just all on special teams, which, by the way, he's going to be a good special teams player for us. He's the kind of guy that's honestly kind of perfect when you talk about this new thing. Other couple little things. Highest graded Cardinals in the preseason finale. There he is, Trevor Nowaske, 76.6. And then the Cardinals decided, let's go ahead and just cut him. All right. He had 41 coverage snaps, a 76.8 coverage grade via PFF, and 13 receiving yards allowed with 5 stops. Dude was balling out this preseason, and the Cardinals were like, nah, we don't need you. All right. And the Detroit Lions were like, thank you very much. We'll take you. Now, couple rules when it comes to waivers. If you take a player off waivers, he needs to immediately go to your 53-man roster. Now, the Lions did not have to get rid of anyone because of this, because they only had 52 on their roster when they finalized everything. But if you look at our lineup, this actually gives them 7 linebackers. All right, we already have Alex Anzalone, Jack Campbell, Derek Barnes, Malcolm Rodriguez, Jalen Reeves-Magen, and Ben Neiman. And so now you add Nowaske. So the question now becomes, are we really going to keep 7 linebackers? And I think the answer is no. I think I know there was a little Malcolm Rodriguez injury, so maybe there's an injury that they have to have happen there or something like that. Or maybe this means Ben's days are numbered here. When I look at Trevor Nowaske, I look at a young version of Ben Neiman, but honestly, more athletic. So why do I like this guy so much? Here's what I saw when watching him in preseason last year. On film from Saginaw Valley State. I get it, D2. All right, but the eventual D2 champs that year, the Ferris State Bulldogs, you got to remember, these colleges are right by where we live, right? So I know what's going on here. Against that team, he had 15 tackles. The Ferris State Bulldogs they run this like really complicated like zone running scheme with multiple options. He stayed clean. He didn't let blockers get his hands on him. He's quick on his feet. His read and react is like that. He was really good in the preseason last year. I mean, really good. Remember Ty Summers, the linebacker this year? That we're all like, did he find a way to make the team? Because he seemed to keep making tackles. That was Nowaske last year, and that's him this year. The difference with them is that Trevor Nowaske is one of the most athletic linebackers to ever test. All right, when he came out at the Saginaw Valley State Pro Day, all right, he came out there and he was more athletic than 98.5% of linebackers to ever test. He is ranked the 38th linebacker that was tested out of 2,503 from 1987 to 2023. All right, and if we know anything, Brad Holmes loves drafting athletic linebackers. All right. He likes guys that jump off the page with some of these things. Look at his speed. Elite speed. All right. Elite agility. That's why he's able to stay clean. He can move quick. He has quick hips. He has swift feet. All right. It's really, really good. Good broad jump. The only thing that's not great is vertical. Nobody cares. But even that's good. Even that is good. And then the only thing he got knocked on was he's a little bit on the lighter side. But when you're looking at him, when you're looking at this picture, dude's looking a little bit more jacked this year than he was last year. So maybe he's even put on a little bit of extra weight in that year in an NFL training regimen with the Arizona Cardinals. This is a guy, to me, that is going to be on this team. He is going to play special teams. He is going to play special teams. And then I'm going to tell you right now, not only is he going to play on special teams, but he's going to be the understudy of Alex Anzalone. And he's one of those guys, and you could look at a couple of our linebackers, and you could say, all right, right now we have Jack Campbell, we have Derek Barnes, we have Malcolm Rodriguez. They're all going to be around. But then when you look at Alex Anzalone, he's getting up there in age. All right? Jalen Reeves-Maybin is getting up there in age. Ben Nyman is already up there in age. These are veteran guys. It might be a cheaper, more athletic option. Not this year, but next year. I wouldn't be surprised if Trevor Nowaske ends up being, honestly, our third linebacker or fourth linebacker next year. Like, this is really good. This is something that can be super, super helpful for this team. And at a place where we already have good depth to add in even more. So why else do I think this is a big deal? All right. Linebackers and running backs, I think, are going to end up playing a really big factor in this new, whatever they call it, the dynamic kickoff, which I think a lot of people are like, come on, right? Just call it a kickoff. It's a kickoff. It's a kickoff. All right. So, like, let's just call it a kickoff. And it's yet to be seen if I like it or not. Like, it's one of those things where it's pretty obvious that we're going to have to get used to how it looks. The aesthetic of it is totally different than anything we've ever seen. But guys that can run like running backs, guys that can run like safeties or corners, but have the body and the size and the tackling ability of a linebacker, guys like Trevor Nowaske, they are gold when it comes to this new kickoff. They are gold when it comes to punt coverage and all of that kind of stuff, because they can get down the field in a hurry and then they can finish the play. That's why it's a really good move. So the Lions now have made a couple of moves here afterward to fill out their roster a little bit better. They go and get Tim Patrick as an extra wide receiver. Good. Very good move. All right, now they're going and they get Trevor Nowaske as an extra linebacker. Very good move. Young, high upside. He knows the system. All right, I know that he's been away for a year, but he's going to adapt very, very quickly. I think this is a really great call. So excited to see now what's going to happen going forward for the Lions and the talent level that they have. When the 52-man or the 53-man roster was initially announced, it's like, please give us something good when it comes to wide receiver. We got something good. All right, and then it's like, where else can we find some skill? We found it. Now my hope is that there's still one more wide receiver that's coming our way. I would really, really like to see that. Otherwise, another good ad of a freak athlete by Brad Holmes. All right, thanks for watching. See you on the next one. Hit that subscribe button.